we're going to discuss cold and cough drugs, by Professor Saminat and Kairahanam. This slide discusses cold and cough drugs. This flashcard explains through serial number, drug classification, and drug's name under the classification and mechanism. Number 1. Name of the classification, pharyngeal, demulcents, drug's name under this classification, 1 lozenge, 2 cough drops, 3 linctus syrup, 4 glycerin, 5 licorice. Mechanism of pharyngeal, demulcents, soothe the throat and reduce afferent impulses from the inflamed, irritated pharyngeal mucosa. Thus, provide symptomatic relief in dry cough arising from the throat. Number 2. Name of the classification, expectorants, mucokinetics, 2.1 bronchial secretion enhancers, drug's name under this classification, 1 sodium citrate, 2 potassium citrate, 3 potassium iodide, 4 guaifenesin, glycerol guaiacylate, 5 balsam of Toulouse, 6 Vasaca, 7 ammonium chloride. Mechanism of bronchial secretion enhancers. Expectorants are believed to increase bronchial secretion or reduce viscosity, facilitating its removal by coughing. Number 2. Name of the classification, 2.2 mucolytics. Drug name under this classification, 1 bromhexine, 2 ambroxol, 3 acetylcysteine, 4 carbocisteine. Mechanism of mucolytics. Mucolytics are drugs used to manage mucus hypersecretion and reduce mucus viscosity. Number 3. Name of the classification, 3 antitussives, 3.1 opioids. Drugs name under this classification, 1 codeine, 2 ethmorphine, 3 pholcodeine. Mechanism of opioids, increases threshold of the cough center, interruption of impulses peripherally in the respiratory tract, inhibition of conduction along the motor pathways, work on stretcher receptors in lungs. Number 3. Name of the classification, 3 antitussives, 3.1 non-opioids. Drugs name under this classification, 1 noscapine, 2 dextromethorphan, 3 clofidinil. Mechanism of non-opioids, activates sigma-opioid receptors on the cough center in the central nervous system, thereby suppressing the cough reflex, does not depress the mucociliary function of the airway mucosa and is practically devoid of constipating action. Number 3. Name of the classification, 3 antitussives, 3.3 peripherally acting. Drugs name under this classification, 1 prenoxdiazine. Mechanism of prenoxdiazine, it acts peripherally by desensitizing the pulmonary stretch receptors. Therefore, there's a reduction of cough impulses originating in the lungs. Number 4. Name of the classification, H1 antihistamine. Mechanism of antihistamine, antihistamine's competitive antagonism of histamine binding to cellular receptors, specifically, the H1 receptors, to stop histamine from reaching its target. The histamine receptor is linked to an intracellular G protein that activates phospholipase C and the inositol triphosphate, IP3, signaling pathway. Drugs name under this classification, 4.1 alkylamines. First generation, 1 brompheniramine, 2 clofeniramine, 3 dimethindine, 4 pheniramine, 5 triprolidine. Second generation, 1 acrivastine, 4.2 piperazines. First generation, 1 buclizine, 2 cyclizine, 3 hydroxyzine, 4 maclizine, 5 oxatamide. Second generation, 1 satyrizine, 2 levosatyrizine, 4.3 piperidines. First generation, 1 azatidine, 2 cyproheptadine, 3 diphtenylpyrrolin, 4 ketotifen. Second generation, 1 astamizole, 2 bilastine, 3 disloratadine, 4 ibastine, 5 fexofenadine, 6 levocabastine, 7 loratadine, 8 mesalastine, 9 olopatadine, 10 ripatadine, 11 terfenadine, 4.4 ethanylamines. A first generation, 1 carbinoxamine, 2 clemastine, 3 dimenhydrinate, 4 diphenhydramine,
5-doxylamine 6-phenyletolyxamine 4.5-ethylenediamines, first generation, 1-antazoline, 2-pyrilamine, 3-triplenamine, 4.6-phenethiazines, first generation, 1-methdilazine 2-promethazine 4.7 other, first generation, 1-doxepin, second generation, 1-azilastine, 2-imidastine, 3-epinastine. Thank you for your attention. Further information, kindly contact profsamiacademy@gmail.com. Disclaimer: this channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel are meant for educational purposes only.